Yo, cult, what is absolutely good? Welcome back to the one and only Combat Cult MMA, Never Back Down. Today we have an absolute mountain of news to get through. The MMA world has been entirely flipped on its head over the last 48 hours, and I am here to break down every single piece of the madness. I'm talking about wild street crimes, bizarre love triangles, massive heavyweight signings, and some of the craziest behind-the-scenes drama we have ever seen involving the White House card. So, do yourself a favor, grab your snacks, sit back, get completely comfortable, because we are about to dive deep into all the absolute meat of the last few days. Let's kick things off with a story that sounds like it was written for a bad Hollywood movie. The pound-for-pound king, the lightweight champion of the world, Islam Makhachev was reportedly robbed while he was vacationing in Italy. Think about the absolute sheer audacity of that for a second. You are a street thief in Italy, you decide to hit a lick, and the guy you end up robbing is literally the most dangerous, unarmed human being walking the face of the earth. They took everything, including a highly personal, invaluable gift from the legendary Georgian football star Khvicha Kvaratskhelia. But here's where the story turns into pure trash and absolute comedy. It was later revealed that the thieves actually returned his documents. Let that sink in. Imagine the moment these guys opened the wallet, looked at the ID, saw the name Islam Makhachev, pulled up a quick Google search, and realized they just robbed the Dagestani Grim Reaper. They probably panicked, folded the documents nicely, and handed them right back just to avoid getting hunted down by Khabib's entire team. What absolute trash. We are going to be following the development of this story very closely because it is just too ridiculous to ignore. Moving straight from the streets of Italy to the wildest love triangle currently happening in the UFC. Let's talk about the light heavyweight kingpin, the man with hands made of literal stone, Alex Poatan Pereira. As we all know, Alex recently went through a highly publicized split with UFC flyweight Tracy Cortez. But Poatan doesn't seem to be wasting any time crying over spilled milk, because he is already allegedly sliding right into the orbit of Ailin Perez. According to Ailin herself, Poatan has been heavily flirting with her and consistently liking her videos on social media, specifically the videos where she is twerking. Now, listen to me, cult. Drop a comment right now and tell me the absolute truth. Who are you giving a like to on a twerk video? Are you Team Ailin Perez or are you Team Tracy Cortez? I'll tell you a little secret right now. I'm taking both of them. But back to the drama. Ailin Perez went on record and stated that Alex is trying to pull the exact same moves with her that he did with Cortez. But here's the kicker. She says he is completely not her type. I quote her exact words, and this is absolutely savage. "Alex, do you want me to end up in a wheelchair after you?" LOL. Pure savagery. Run along and go watch that twerk video from Perez right now, my little MMA funds, because this storyline is getting completely out of hand. All right, let's step away from the romance and get back to the sheer violence of the sport. The featherweight champion, Ilia Topuria, is out here making massive, bold predictions. He is stating on the record that he is going to knock out Justin Gaethje in the very first round. Now, a lot of people might call that crazy, but when you actually sit down and analyze Ilia's fighting style and the cold, calculated way he approaches every single bout, I can actually see this being a very fast, very violent night. Topuria basically said that he sees this fight playing out exactly like the Charles Oliveira fight did for Gaethje. Why? Because he doesn't believe Gaethje has a reverse gear. Justin Gaethje is a dog. He is the type of fighter who only knows how to move forward, bite down on his mouthpiece, and take the fight directly to you. But Topuria believes that when you do that against an elite counter-striker, you make fatal mistakes. Topuria said, "Especially when you fight someone like me, who else has this much technique? First round? Yeah, I think everything gets decided in the first round." Now, the majority of the hardcore fan base might agree that Topuria has the cleaner boxing. But guys, this is MMA. Anything can happen, and underestimating a human car crash like Justin Gaethje is the quickest way to wake up looking at the arena lights. But what we can say with 100% certainty is that this fight is going to be an absolute firework display from the opening bell. Speaking of Topuria, if you want to understand the mind of the matador, you are in luck. A brand new documentary series about him, appropriately titled Topuria Matador, is officially dropping this June on HBO Max. This is massive for the sport. The series is going to showcase Topuria's entire journey, starting from his very first title fight in the featherweight division all the way to his current status as a global superstar. We are getting 3 full episodes, 50 minutes each, of high-quality, behind-the-scenes cinematic footage. Let me know down in the comments. Are you guys actually going to sit down and watch this, or are you just waiting for the Twitter clips? Now, we have to talk about the absolute mess that is the White House card. Topuria and Makhachev are back at it, arguing back and forth over who actually ducked the fight at the White House. How close was this super fight to actually happening? Did Ilia price himself out, or did Islam actually pull out with an injury? According to Ilia, it was incredibly close. Topuria claims that just hours before the entire UFC Freedom 250 card at the White House was officially announced, he already knew he was going to fight Islam Makhachev, and the bout was seconds away from being made public. But then, literally 2 hours before the big announcement, Ilia says he got a phone call telling him that Islam had just suffered an injury, and suddenly he was fighting Justin Gaethje instead. So, according to Topuria, the fight was right on the absolute edge of being official. Well, Islam Makhachev caught wind of this and fired back on X, formerly Twitter, with absolute venom. I am so tired of listening to these made-up fairy tales from Ilia and his team. The very next day, I was told that he asked for an unrealistic, absolutely insane purse. Everyone refused him, and he bailed on the fight. That is the whole story. There is nothing else to it. Even his own manager confirmed this. Ilia, stop talking. In every single interview, you come up with a brand new story. You ducked me, and you know it. But here is where the plot thickens, cult. It is a well-known fact that manager Ali Abdelaziz often writes social media posts on behalf of his fighters. When a fan replied to the tweet and told Ali that it was 4 a.m. and he needed to go to sleep, the account replied, "Not him today," meaning Islam Makhachev himself took the phone and personally typed out that response. He is genuinely angry about this narrative. The manager for Ilia Topuria immediately jumped in to criticize Islam Makhachev and his entire team, accusing them of blatantly lying about Topuria refusing the fight. His manager said, "No lies here. We said no to both options, and both us and the UFC completely dropped off the radar. When they finally came back and agreed to our financial terms, Islam's hand was injured, and he physically could not accept the fight. So, whoever is running Islam's account right now, just accept it. When the event at the White House is over, we will be looking for this fight again, and we will be looking for the money that comes with it." What can you even say at this point? These are 2 highly dramatic fighters, and they both know exactly how to draw attention to themselves. More than likely, there is a little bit of guilt and a little bit of truth on both sides of this negotiation table. And right in the middle of this chaos, Ian Machado Gary decides to throw his name into the hat. Gary reacted to the back and forth between Topuria and Islam by saying, "So, your hand is fine now? No more excuses. I will see you in August." Listen, I am just going to say it. I have a strong feeling that Gary is going to get completely passed over here. Michelle Morales is a significantly more interesting and dangerous matchup for Makhachev right now. What do you guys think? Drop your matchmaking opinions in the comments below. While we are on the topic of the White House and Topuria, Ilia recently admitted that he was completely shocked by the result of the fight between Paddy Pimblett and Justin Gaethje. Topuria genuinely believed that Paddy was going to secure the victory in that interim lightweight title clash. He said, "I really thought Paddy was going to win that fight against Justin. Before the fight happened, I was absolutely sure that I would be fighting Paddy next, because from the moment they announced the White House event, I knew I was going to be on that card." A journalist also took the time to remind Topuria about his famous quote where he promised to become a 3-division world champion before the age of 30. Ilia didn't back down. He smiled and replied, "Yes, I am 29 right now, so I still have a few months left to make that happen." The confidence on this guy is just absolutely off the charts. And just to put a final nail in the coffin regarding the money rumors, the big boss himself, Dana White, stepped up to the microphone. A reporter asked Dana, "Islam said the reason the Topuria fight didn't happen is because of the massive amount of money Topuria asked for. Do you have anything to say about that?" Dana looked dead at him and said, "That is not true." The reporter pressed, "Not true?" Dana finalized it. "That is not true. Period. So there you have it. The boss says the money wasn't the issue, which makes this whole situation even more confusing." In other wild news, Daniel Rodriguez, aka D-Rod, has officially been released from jail. And the absolute best part about this? He immediately reposted a quote from Kevin Holland that read, "I bailed out D-Rod so that we could have our rematch. You cannot script this kind of stuff. The MMA community is just built differently." We are eagerly waiting for more details on that absolute banger of a rematch. Let's talk logistics for a second because we finally got the official promo and our very first real look at what UFC Freedom 250 at the White House is actually going to look like. Dana White gave us the inside details. The massive octagon and arena setup on the South Lawn is going to start a full month before the event takes place. Dana White and Donald Trump are each getting 200 personal tickets to hand out. Out of those, 84 people from each side are going to get exclusive access to a hyper-elite VIP zone located directly inside the White House. The vast majority of the remaining tickets are being given away to active military personnel. To top it all off, every single fighter on the card is getting completely unique, custom-made fight gear. This is going to be a deeply historical tournament, even though, if we are being completely honest, the fight card itself could have been a little bit more stacked. Now, let's take a trip down to Florida and look at the absolute monsters currently training at American Top Team. The atmosphere inside that gym right now is heavy. First of all, we have the legendary Ukrainian war veteran, Yaroslav Amosov, deep in preparation for his fight against Alvarez. Do not sleep on Amosov. This man is an absolute hero, a former Bellator world champion, and he holds an astonishing professional record of 29 wins and only one single loss. He is a living legend in the sport, and we are absolutely going to be doing a dedicated deep dive video on his legacy very soon. But the size of the guys at ATT right now is what is really breaking the internet. Alex Pereira recently stepped on the scale, and he is currently walking around at a mind-boggling 114 kilograms. That is 251 pounds. The man is an absolute titan, and he isn't the only one bulking up. Michel Morales also showed off his off-season weight, clocking in at 98.4 kilograms, 217 pounds. These guys are absolute units. It makes you wonder how they even make the weight cut down to their respective divisions. Speaking of massive human beings, the heavyweight division just got a terrifying new addition. Gable Steveson has officially signed a contract with the UFC and is set to make his highly anticipated debut at UFC 329 on July 11th. If you don't know who Steveson is, wake up. He is a legend in the world of freestyle wrestling. We are talking about an Olympic gold medalist in Tokyo and a two-time NCAA Division I national champion. Athletes of this caliber only appear in the heavyweight division maybe once every decade. He brings a foundational wrestling base that rivals the likes of Brock Lesnar or Daniel Cormier, but he moves with even more explosive speed. Listen to me. He weighs 120 kilograms, 265 pounds, and he casually does backflips after he wins. If this man has spent the last year learning even the basic fundamentals of throwing hands, he is going to be an absolute living nightmare for the entire heavyweight roster. Let's slide down to the light heavyweight division. The former champion, the modern-day samurai Jiří Procházka, is already demanding a rematch with Carlos Ulberg. After their recent clash, Jiří released a statement saying, "Thank you everyone for the incredible support. I am currently in the hospital getting my jaw checked out. I am so sorry for my performance. I still cannot understand my own stupid mercy and pity that I showed during the fight. That moment of hesitation cost me the victory. I want a rematch immediately because that fight was mine to win, and I simply gave him the opportunity to catch me." Right after the fight, Jiří was complaining to Joe Rogan that he genuinely felt sorry for Ulberg in the middle of the exchange, and it served as a brutal lesson. I don't know, guys. I would absolutely watch a rematch because it guarantees violence. But I have a sinking feeling that Procházka's chin is officially cracked. When you take that much damage over a career, the lights start turning off from much weaker punches. Meanwhile, Carlos Ulberg had a completely different perspective. He planned to put Jiří to sleep in the very first round out of pure necessity. Ulberg revealed, "After I threw a kick, my knee literally popped right out of place. The pain was insane. I realized right then and there that I had to finish him in the first round. If it went to the corner between rounds, my coaches would know. His corner would see it, and I would be completely finished." You have to give absolute respect to the new king of the light heavyweights. He is out here flatlining top-tier contenders even when he literally cannot stand on his own 2 feet. That is warrior energy. Finally, let's talk about the relentless cardio machine, Merab Dvalishvili. Things are looking very bad for Merab's nose right now. The damage has accumulated to the point where he can barely breathe through it. Medical professionals are heavily insisting that he undergo immediate surgery to fix the deviated septum and clear the airways. However, Merab is incredibly stubborn and absolutely does not want to lose 6 months of his prime recovering from surgery, especially because he is laser-focused on securing his highly anticipated rematch with Petr Yan. But let's be real here. Merab's entire fighting style is entirely dependent on his endless cardio. His cardio directly depends on his oxygen intake. If his nose isn't functioning and he cannot breathe, his legendary pace is going to drop significantly. And if your pace drops when you are locked in a cage with a clinical striker like Petr Yan, that is an absolute death sentence. Merab has a very tough decision to make in the coming weeks. All right, my friends, that is all the news we have for today. The landscape of MMA is changing daily, and we are going to be right here to cover every single second of it. As always, you have been watching Combat Cult MMA. Do me a massive favor. Hit that subscribe button, smash the like button to feed the algorithm, and share this video with your fight fan friends. Until we see you next time, keep training hard, stay sharp, and as always, eat good, peace out.